So, Kiran, this book, Careless People by Sarah Wynne William, I remember a lot of people were posting about it on social media. This is the most laboriously, boringly dull book on this planet, even while it exposes some crucial truths. I'm not completing one long article, I'm skimming through everything, I'm giving up books halfway.
We've all become goldfish because of Facebook.
But think about it, like somebody out there knows everything about you, everything, and they can actually create a holograph of you. Your taste, your personality, what you like, what you don't like, what you find funny. So, Kiran, this book, Careless People by Sarah Wynne William, I remember a lot of people were posting about it on social media, and I picked up a copy, and then you picked this copy up yourself. And while we had the intention of discussing it, I gave up midway because this is the most laboriously, boringly dull book on this planet, even while it exposes some crucial truths. What did you think?
I gave up on it midway too. Then I picked it up again because a lot of things have been happening on Facebook and around Facebook. And I was sort of very curious as to bits and pieces I remembered from the book, and I wanted to get back to it. I think my trigger was suddenly when I realized that there were a lot of people on Facebook who were friends, Facebook friends, whom I've never met in my life.
Why have you added them?
I don't know how they got added. There was a phase in my life when my son looked at my Facebook and said, "You have so many friend requests," and proceeded to add everybody.
Yeah.
And I never bothered to
Also, around the time of a book release, you don't mind because you think that
it'll amplify.
yeah.
And then I realized that I don't need to expose my life to all these people out there, and I don't need to be friends with so many people. And then I remembered reading a bit in this book which really caught my interest about, how Facebook is actually taking us all for a ride, so to speak.
In meta.
Meta.
Actually, see, first things first. My problem with this book, before we come to the bigger subject of meta, was that she sounded very holier than thou. Okay? It's written by a woman who was a diplomat from New Zealand. And then she wanted to make a difference to the world, and she thought that the best way to do that was to work for Mark Zuckerberg. Firstly, that in itself is a dead giveaway. Because how naive are you?
You're naive? No, you're not naive. You're very calculating because you went ahead and you got that job.
Yeah.
And you pushed to get that job.
She hustled to get that job, right?
Right. It wasn't that they were looking for her. They created that position for her, which is all fine.
For policy. She was going to do policy.
And she became the head of global policy, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean.
And now she goes on to do this expose, which is all right. I'm not pro Facebook or Meta or Zuckerberg at all. But the bigger issue here is her inaction through all those years definitely contributed to Meta being the way it is. Because while you say that, working with Zuckerberg was like this, and work with what's her name?
Sandberg.
Cheryl Sandberg, she was...
Not leaning in at all.
Not leaning in at all, and you had to be invisible as a mother. You couldn't talk about a life beyond work, blah, blah, blah. Then what were you doing why didn't you quit sooner?
You didn't quit sooner because you were very comfortable.
Yeah, you were a cog in the wheel.
You were in a position of what you felt was power.
Yes.
You were at tables internationally where you were with leaders, politicians, very senior political leaders.
Making policies for countries.
Yeah.
Hobnobbing with important people. With the military in Myanmar.
Where Facebook caused such a big crisis.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I don't know, she's trying to exonerate herself from this book, but no, she's as culpable as the rest of them.
She is.
Totally.
So having said that, now let's bitch about Meta.
And Zuckerberg.
Because I really had a beef with the author. That's why I just found her disingenuous.
No, that's very clear. That comes across that while she's trying to paint herself, as you said, holier than thou, she's not. She's there for the options.
It's a little like Nausa Chuhe Khake.
She got sacked, and therefore now I should write this book.
So,
all that apart, I love the title because it is Careless People. It is
I mean, firstly, वो भी original नहीं था, like Gatsby.
Careless People. So Tom and Daisy and Zuckerberg and Sandberg and all that is happening. But what do we learn from this book? That we are all products that Zuckerberg has been selling all this while. And we've been naive fools to let him do that. And we continue to be that.
Yeah, because now actually most of us are inactive on Facebook now. But Instagram is Meta, WhatsApp is Meta.
Everything is like interconnected. Anything you post anywhere is going there.
Yeah.
They're tracking your data across all sites. They're sending your data everywhere to all sorts of advertisers. You even think of something and you see the ad pop up.
Of course, see, they do your psychological profiling through this, right? And that's how the presidential campaign in the US, and that's how that senior woman who was working in India for Facebook, she had to step down because
Cambridge Analytica.
Cambridge Analytica, exactly. I think we have to explain to our the innocent audience, those amongst the listeners and viewers who don't know. Anyway, Cambridge Analytica was basically a company that had access to data from Facebook in the earlier part of the 2012, 13, 14 pre-COVID. And they came up with a psychological profile because once you have that, you can influence people and their decisions. So election, as you know, is a very important part of the decision that people make, but you can influence them by showing the right kind of stories and voices on their timeline.
So this is what was used across the world, including
Yeah.
India, to influence elections.
And so the thing is that, as amazing as it is that, oh, I was looking for a carpet and now Facebook and Instagram are full of carpet ads and they've made my life simpler. But think about it, like somebody out there knows everything about you. Everything, and they can actually create a holograph of you.
Yeah.
Your taste, your personality, what you like, what you don't like, what you find funny. It's actually dystopian.
It's very scary and it's happening here and now. The fact remains that we have willingly handed over all our data to them.
I know.
And so we have no one to blame but ourselves for this.
I mean, my ultimate act of resistance is to not use Facebook very much any longer after everything has been put out there.
But no one's using Facebook anymore. My mom's using Facebook.
My mom's using
And my husband's using Facebook very diligently.
Is that right?
Very diligently.
Yeah. But I mean, Instagram is as bad now with open accounts. Our accounts are open.
So, yeah. So then you have the option of getting a closed account, but your account anyway, they are tracking everything, so they know that it's attached to your...
Also, like when they give you a blue tick, which they gave to us back then, if you have a blue tick, you can't have a closed account.
Okay, not that account, but you can have a burner account.
That's true.
Which is a closed account.
True.
Anyway, what I'm very interested about is Cheryl Sandberg.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a revelation because you have Cheryl Sandberg going everywhere, Davos, everywhere, doing her lean in thing.
Yeah.
Telling women you can have it all, but you have to lean in.
She was a horrible boss.
Terrible boss. And she was somebody who was asking her underlings to come
to bed.
To come to bed with her. Now, the bed is very ambiguous.
Yeah, so I this is what, this can you just discuss this a little further, Kiran? What if this was on a flight, a private jet? She has the only bed available. She's offering to the two other girls and saying, you can lie, come to bed. You must be tired.
But this has been left ambiguous. So we don't know what the come to bed
But come to bed can mean only one thing in the manner in which it literally translates into that.
She could be a kind, generous boss at that moment and think that, they're tired and come on, they need a
Yeah, but
nap.
then she was sort of grooming that other girl, her assistant, and calling her my doll.
And getting her to buy lingerie.
Worth 13,000 USD. So I think we're chatting among ourselves. We need to also... Yeah, I think, Kiran, because you have read it so, recently, there's 4 key anecdotes from this book that really stand out. One is that, of course, the one that stood out for me from the part that I remember is that this woman who's written the book is, Sarah, is going through childbirth. And Cheryl Sandberg wants her to send notes for some talk she's giving at Davos or somewhere, okay? From lying in the delivery bed with the legs in stirrups. She is dictating notes or jotting them down to send to her because that's how demanding and exacting a boss she was. And children are no excuse. In fact, don't talk about your kids and pretend they don't exist and always be at service and have no life beyond work. So that is very problematic. But can you now actually...
One anecdote that stood out for me. There's this bit about where Facebook has influenced the elections in the US. And there's no shock and awe about how they've done it and why they have done it. Zuckerberg is completely now sold on the premise that now I can perhaps try for president.
Really?
Yeah. And he begins the tour
this
across...
This is the Trump election?
Yeah. And this is...
2017?
Yeah. This is... Now he's starting a tour across the US, in all the key places where, the president,
Rallies.
the president, whatever,
Presidential,
hopeful
yeah.
candidates would go through, and he would do that. And
No,
that
no,
makes me,
as an independent.
he didn't stand, but he began that thought. So the thought, my takeaway from that is Facebook has made him so powerful. At that point, he thought he could be president.
But he is so powerful.
He is so powerful because everybody was hobnobbing with him.
Today you post one false story, yeah, and you decide, you tell your algo that show it on everyone's timeline. That person's life or that political party's life is over. It's RIP.
Yeah, and what is the moderation? I mean, look at what happened in Burma. They had only one Burmese language moderator. So now what happened in Burma?
Yeah.
There was false information being put out. Riots happened.
And there was no access to the net.
There was no access to net.
So at first, Zuckerberg proposed that we want to make the internet accessible to everybody. And this dear writer of this book, Sarah Wynn, thought that it'll be used for a greater good of Burmese people to have access to the net. That was just a premise to get into the country and hobnob with the junta, the political, the government.
The government there.
Yeah. So then.
And then after that, I mean, the kind of misinformation that went out, the writing
Like what?
About people being killed or whatever.
Oh, the Rohingya.
The Rohingya riots.
Right.
And when you have such a volatile situation and you are in a country which is volatile, you need to have language moderators. The moderators who know the language and understand it. You have one person sitting in Ireland. It's not enough. The information doesn't get taken down fast enough. It spreads too fast. It just accelerates the violence.
And they were saying things against the Rohingyas,
Yes.
participating in mob riots when they were actually not.
Exactly.
And because none of the English-speaking Meta people could translate that or know what was being written, there was inaction until they got in touch with the interpreter. It was too little too late by the time he took that post down. And then you've seen how the Rohingya crisis
unfolded.
And what were the number of people who died?
I don't know the exact
Some
number.
hundreds of thousands of people died.
A lot of people died, and they're still trying to flee
this
the country.
Is literally like this team has blood on their hands.
They're complicit in murder.
They are complicit in
genocide.
Genocide, yes, exactly.
And then the fact that when they were planning, in this book, she talks about how Meta was planning to get into Facebook at the time, was planning to get into China. And they were very happy to get into China, even if it meant giving the data of the users.
And censorship.
And everything that they claim that they don't want, they would never do in other countries. But just to get into China, they were happy to bend over backwards.
So this is a group of extremely unethical people who are sociopaths, who care for nothing but their own lifestyle and their own success. And there's a quote in here that... very meaningful quote where she says that, it's like you take 5 kids and you make them billionaires and they don't know what to do with their money. So just play around, go through people's lives, destroying them like careless people. But in this context, it's also really true because they were very young when this level of money and wealth was created in their individual lives. And as they've gone along, but the worst part is that even governments in respective countries where they've actively participated in violence will never take any action against them because the same governments use them.
Yeah, they are
for propaganda.
They are party to getting governments elected, and that's very clear.
It's the town crier, the new town crier.
But I don't know, is Facebook relevant anymore? It may have been relevant at the time the book was written.
Not exactly Facebook, but Meta owns Instagram.
Okay.
So today, if they choose to show a certain kind of feed, do you know, young girls, and I think this was here, I read it here, young girls who were going through eating disorders, why did it start? Because their feed was showing people talking about not eating and was showing about fashion that was size 0, and they were promoting that beauty concept. And somebody did a social experiment. They made a false account in the name of a 13-year-old girl to see what are the kind of information that will come their way. And all the stuff that was coming was so scary today, was psychologically so damaging for young children, about making them extremely physically conscious about their bodies, about making them feel ugly.
Okay.
about proposing newer filters. It's extremely damaging to any generation where a 13-year-old firstly is given access to social, which kids will do. They'll find a way to have it. And then you have an irresponsible company like that. So the thing is that it's insidious in the way it works.
Yeah. It is insidious. I mean, you just have to look at the way the algorithm targets you.
And this shows how people start believing their own BS. Zuckerberg's team would not let him lose any game,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that he would continue to feel like the lord and master of them all. And the one time the writer of this book actually beat him to a game, he called her a cheat, because he could. This just shows to you that what are these people made of?
It's like a king's court, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're jesters all around. Nobody will make the king feel uncomfortable.
So, Kiran, these guys are not just careless, they're immoral. Because what Instagram did was that girls who were deleting, 13-year-old girls, young girls who were deleting their selfies, it actually targeted them with ads that were indirectly body shaming and beauty ads, so that they would feel more encouraged to again start taking the selfies and then buy these products.
My goodness.
And I mean, what kind of profiteering is this?
It's a vicious
At what
circle.
cost? Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's so disgusting that this happens under our nose because the children we know are on Instagram for some sort of a validation, a dopamine hit.
And it's very easy, when you hear it at the general statement that our children are getting affected. But you are a mother, and I'm a mother to young girls, and I see young girls, and I'm afraid to see every time I see a post on like that. I've shared it with you recently. Who are these singers who've lost a ton of weight?
Ariana Grande for
Ariana
one.
Grande, who looks like a skeleton.
No, she's really looking terrible. It's not Ozempic.
And also that Hannah Montana, what's her name?
Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus.
All of them have become really thin.
Anorexic. They become anorexic.
Yeah. It's anorexia.
And
It can't be Ozempic.
I keep thinking, my God, I hope young girls are not seeing these young girls who idolize these people. But knowing how Meta works, they'll target young girls with those things, and then with beauty products, and then with new trends, just to sell more, buy more.
When does it end? How does it end?
It ends badly for the consumer. It ends badly for these kids who are going to grow up, who are growing up with body dysmorphia.
I am hopeful in a way because I see a lot of the kids are getting off social media. I don't know whether my lot is a very small anecdotal.
I think it's a small lot.
Yeah.
Because I think which one of us can afford to really get off social media today?
I think you can afford to ration your time, but to come to that realization takes a long time.
That's quicksand.
They don't have that kind of.
That is the whole quicksand business.
Yeah. So the fact is, this woman, Sarah Wynne Williams, has mentioned in multiple chapters about her being harassed by Joel Kaplan, sexually harassed. He's made suggestive comments. He's, spoken to her in a suggestive manner while she was breastfeeding, while all sorts of things at an offsite. He was grinding against her at a party, and all these things. People observing all this. She's detailed it out in this book. No action was taken against him. She was asked to leave.
This is the thing. Imagine that the woman. Does Cheryl Sandberg still work at Facebook?
No, I think she quit. She did quit.
And do you know they tried to block the promotion of
They
Facebook?
have tried to block
So
it.
she can't promote it.
She can't promote it, but it went to bestseller nonetheless, so it's okay.
I mean, that's the best way to promote something is to block it, right?
So this book says power, greed, and madness. I think those three words are very telling. Power, greed, and madness. I think they encapsulate the entire work culture around at Facebook. You were asking me about anecdotes that I found interesting in this book. There's one anecdote right at the end, at the back of the book, which is about somebody who is in the Facebook office having a seizure. She's a contract worker. She's down on the floor having a seizure, and nobody takes their eyes off the computer to help her.
No.
And I think that was so telling about the work culture.
This is what kind of apathy and toxicity?
That work and getting those, whatever they're working on going, and somebody called 911. But who's she? What's her name? Nobody knows. She's a contract worker. Call the contract worker office and find out who she is. But she's having a seizure right now.
Also, there was an anecdote where this writer's infant, is locked up inside the apartment. The nanny has walked out of the apartment and realized she doesn't have the keys on her. Sarah William is traveling somewhere at the time, I think in Mexico or somewhere for some policy meeting. And she gets a call, SOS call from the nanny. And she's trying to convey to Cheryl Sandberg that I'm in this crisis situation. And Cheryl raises her eyebrows at her and tells her to quickly wind up the conversation and get back to work.
Crazy.
And this is a woman who has children, and this is a woman who's been become an icon of sorts, corporate icon.
Has positioned herself as a corporate icon for women wanting to have it all and the babies. But
It's awful. I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a book. But in our personal lives, nothing's going to come of it. Okay. Are you going to stop using social?
I've cut down a fair bit.
I'm going to stop sharing. Just Google Kiran Mandala, Shonali Shroff, and let's see, forget our other stuff. How much of our stuff emerges just from our social media
Yeah,
feeds?
our personal stuff. That's
Yeah.
right.
So
That's
tomorrow
right.
they can really create bots that look and talk like you and me. So, yeah, I mean, I'm in no position to give any kid a moral lecture on this. I'm myself
We are
quite
guilty as charged.
guilty.
Absolutely.
I'm charging myself.
I'm guilty, but there can be redemption. Valmiki could become a saint.
Valmiki didn't live with these temptations around him.
Maybe
His
yeah.
quick endorphin. My mother, my mom keeps telling me, don't use the phone so much. It's bad for your eyes. But at night in bed, I see her doing this.
My mom is the most active person on Facebook.
Your mom?
Yep.
So sweet. Yeah. So,
So
okay.
we're not
on
going to
that
get rid.
note,
We're not going to get rid of
yeah.
it.
I was reading on Instagram.
Lovely.
A post about how Steve Jobs is a person whose 80% work used to be 80% focus on what he's doing, and there was 20% noise. There are very few individuals in this world who are so obsessed with being productive that they're 80% of the time they're being productive. Okay. And Elon Musk is also in the similar ratio. 80 to 90% of the time he's being productive, and the other 10% is noise. And then they said that if you want to do well in life in any chosen field, then you need to be like them, that kind of razor sharp focus. Okay. And I realized then that mine would probably be 50-50, maybe 40-60.
40%.
That noise is all coming from social media.
So 60% is the noise or 40% is the noise?
60% is the noise.
Mine would be 80, I think.
But see what happens, that you say, I'm taking a 5-minute break. There's a timer on my Insta.
It's a rabbit
And
hole.
in there, I see an interesting article that I want to read from The Atlantic or something. So then I click on that article. Now I've read that article. I've read it in a hurry because my brain can no longer operate on long reads. Okay? I do that. I share it with you. When I share it with you,
I'll respond.
no, there's already something waiting that you've shared with me. So then it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah. And we're guilty of pebbling each other all day.
We are pebbling each other all day. I'm not completing one long article. I'm skimming through everything. I'm giving up books halfway.
We've all become goldfish because of Facebook.
I've joined this chat group where every evening from 8:30 to 9, they ask you to meditate. It doesn't have to be the whole 30 minutes. It can be for 5 minutes. But it's just to tell you that everybody on the chat group at this time is trying to sit still and meditate. And I just realized I need to do something for myself. Kiran, and even if you're out and about, you can just shut your eyes for 5 minutes and focus on your
You
breath.
will not speak for 5 minutes, Shonali.
You have to meet my mother. She talks in her sleep also. But
And now I know where you get it from.
yeah. But, I said, okay. So I was on my way to South Bombay for a wedding. I said, chalo, I'll try and do this now. I shut my eyes. And the car is going through whatever. And I'm trying to focus. And then I realized I had been doing it for like nearly 25 minutes.
Wow.
8 minutes hua tha. I checked the time. It had been 8 minutes since
This
I'd
is
been...
Einstein's theory of relativity. Right here. Painful being quiet.
So this is where we are at now.
Yeah, we are goldfish.
Yeah.